What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I am DJ, aka Token Black Guy. If you guys are new for the first time, hit that like button, subscribe button. So I'm gonna give my review and thoughts on episode 3 of Halo the series season 2. This one was called Visegrad or whatever. Um, but I decided for the rest of this series and going forward, I'm going to try to watch the show as not as a fan of Halo, as just someone who is just coming into it, which is kind of hard because knowing all the lore and stuff like that. So I just feel like my fandom bias is overriding anything that I could like critique good in this show. So I'm gonna try to not look at through that lens, more of a outsider looking in kind of lens. So with that said, Halo 2, season 2, episode 3. This episode, it had very good parts to it. And it had parts that I just really don't care about. So basically this episode boils down to where we left off in episode 2, where Chief is taking Silver Team out to where Cobalt Team was sent out to, because he believes that they were sent here on Reach and that the Covenant's already here. So he's trying to get the facts that something happened. So him and Cobalt Team, Silver Team goes out. Riz, what's the black dude name, and Kai. Kai is kind of suspicious because he knows Chief is going through his mental stuff. But they're questioning, like, it was his mission approved and everything. Well, they get to the facility and there's no one there, and they start up the signal, whatever, and there's a repeating signal they hear, but it's actually a trap set by Oni, because they realize that he stole a Pelican and went out on an unauthorized mission. So that leads to him basically, pointing a gun at a Oni officer and all that stuff, and he goes in the room and it's basically empty. So him, Chief, and the other 3 of Silver Team are basically, confined to quarters, or not defined to quarters. Chief is confined to quarters. The rest of them are just like put on the sideline. They're no more active duty. They're basically in suspension right now. So they're all going their separate ways. And Kai reports back to Ackerson, and the whole back and forth with her and him, where she's trying to defend Chief, but at the same time is questioning what's going on. Riz goes back to the guy that she had her physical therapy with, which they kind of had a quote unquote woke scene with that. I'm just like, whatever. I didn't realize they were actually gay Spartans, but whatever. I'm not gonna dwell on that. I just kind of rolled my eyes at that scene. And Vanix is doing what he's doing, watching his nature documentaries. But the whole show basically revolves around that. And Ackerson, basically, he knows that the Covenant is already here, and he's trying to cover it up, because he believes that the simulations that Cortana was running for him were, could they win the fight at Reach, and every simulation is basically 0 chance of them winning. So he is now in the process, basically evacuating all the key personnel that he can, without causing a panic throughout the population. He's not telling anybody, keep on the wraps. And it basically, later on in the episode, Keys discovers that what actually happened to Cobalt Team, where they were slaughtered, they have their bodies and everything, which, if you know any kind of Spartan lore, that Spartans never die, they're reported as mission in action. So they're basically reported mission in action, but they have the bodies. And Keys confronts him about, we need to evacuate everybody now, but Ackerson doesn't want to cause a panic, and so they go back and forth with that. So that whole storyline, I'm liking for the most part. I like when they focus more on the Spartan teams of what their storylines are. But when we go to the Rebel, I could care less about that storyline. For one reason, the connection to everything is so stupid. I don't understand. And I don't care about Quan. Sorensen, I get, he's a former Spartan. He helped Chief out. They were friends back in the day. I get it. But I don't care. He's not even, he's been kidnapped and everything, not kidnapped, but captured, which is later revealed that Ackerson has him. He wants him to see Halsey. But I don't care about the Rebel. Like that whole subplot with Quan and all them. I don't like Quan for one thing, and And this the whole thing is so stupid. I don't understand why we keep dwelling on that. Let's stay on Reach, focus on the Spartan team. Where as much as I don't really like that as a fan, but the whole where Chief is trying to prove the covenant. If we're going to go that route, let's stick with that route and let's focus on that with him. Chief trying to prove that he's actually right and knows what he's doing, and trying to prove to everybody else. Now that Commander Keyes knows that the covenant's already here, maybe he can help Chief out. And the whole cover up, I actually that storyline is actually getting somewhat interesting to me. But when we flash back to the rubble, I could care less about that. That's the part that brings the show down, especially in this episode. When we go back to the rubble, I don't care about Sorensen's wife. I don't care about his son. I don't care about Quan for one thing. And Quan's like this badass now, where she's knifing people and doing all this stuff. And I just don't care about that because I don't see how it is an intro part of the plot. A good side story I like was that Corporal Perez girl. She discovers some hidden signal inside that distortion at the comm center. That's good. That's a good subplot. That's a good sub character to have in the show, where now she can come back because she shows Chief that, hey, I found something in the signal. It's kind of like the Independence Day when Jeff Goldblum's character found the countdown in the signal that it's a countdown. So it's basically the covenant saying that they're our destruction is the will of the gods, all that stuff. You know how they preach and all that stuff. But I actually like that part. But when we go to the rubble, it just takes you out of the dread, the suspense and stuff, that the urgency of what's about to happen on Reach. Like, they're here. Like, we gotta do something. Like, but when you go to rubble, it's like that's so far away from what's going on. It has nothing to do with what's going on that's important in the storyline, that it just takes you out from it. So I would prefer, if they're going to do what they're doing, to just stay on Reach. Quick flashing back to the rubble with Sorensen and Quan and his wife and all that stuff, and his crew that kind of double crossed them. I don't care about that. Let's stick with Reach. Let's stick with Silver Team. Let's stick with the whole conspiracy of the cover up by Oni and Ackerson. I don't mind that. I'm coming around to that for the most part. So, the show, for the most part, visually, like I said, the show visually has always been amazing. And like I said, I'm trying to look at through the lens of a casual fan now, not as a diehard Halo fan, looking at it for what it is, because it's an adaptation of what this show is. But I will say, I was, when we were doing the stuff on Reach, I was into it. I was like, okay, what's going on? How Chief's going to prove? When Chief got put in the sideline, I was like, oh crap. When he actually found out that the old general, the Indian lady, was actually still working for Oni, that was interesting. And like I said, the whole thing with Corporal Perez, that's a storyline, sub character now that should replace Quan, I think, in this show as a subplot of, a secondary subplot or sub character, where she actually ends up helping Chief. It makes more sense for a regular Marine, in this thing to actually help Chief out, which I like to see more of the regular infantry, Marines, officers, the military aspect of the Halo universe. So, so the episode wasn't terrible for the most part. I enjoy when they stayed on Reach and that whole subplot, the whole thing with Ackerson's sister being a part of the Spartan program, where the augmentation messed her up. I was like, oh, whatever. And then with his, I think it was uncle, or that was his dad, that was dying or whatever. But I kind of see the point that Ackerson's saying, let's keep it on the hush because we don't cause a panic. But I understand where Commander Keyes is coming from, where that we got to tell everybody and get prepared to, get our defenses ready to at least put up a fight for Reach and everything. So it's interesting to see now that Chief is on the sideline and Silver Team on the sideline with this information you got from Perez. How will that come for switching for forward and everything? I can't say that word. But so like I said, if they can stay on Reach and focus on that whole plot and everything, I think the show is going to be better. I can sit here and complain about the helmet thing and all that stuff, but it is what it is. That's what the show's going for. There's no point in complaining about it more anymore. It is what it is. So like I said, now I've kind of taken a step back as a Halo fan and just kind of taking the show for what it is. I think I might be able to enjoy it a little bit more. there's still problems. I will say there's still problems with the show that I think, and as a Halo fan, you're still gonna like it's gonna creep in a little bit. So, but I'm trying to look at it through the lens of a non-Halo fan or non-Halo fanboy like I am. So, but overall, I thought episode 3 was solid. Like I said, take out the rubble parts. It was a decent episode. It did move the plot forward a little bit. I need more urgency. The only person that has urgency is Chief, So yeah. But that's just my quick thoughts and review of episode 3. I don't have much to say for the most part. Let me know if you have watched episode 3, if you've been watching the series, what you think of it. If you're like me, you're trying to take your Halo fandom and put it on the side and just watch the show for what it is. So I'm trying to be more positive, y'all. I'm trying to be more positive. Because there's so much negativity in the world, and we're getting so much bad crap lately. Trying to find that silver lining. So, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think of episode 3. I'm gonna try to find a couple of breakdowns of episodes. We're gonna watch it, catch the stuff that we missed and everything. So, because I'm a Halo fan, but I don't know everything about Halo. There's probably like detailed stuff that I've kind of missed. But yeah. Leave your thoughts, comments down below. Until next time, guys. Y'all have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.